What is your definition of self-awareness in design careers, and how important is it in a practical way? Self-awareness in your design career.
I mean, it never hurts to be self-aware. I think that kind of ties back to the soft skills as well. Like, how do you communicate with someone? Be aware of the situation, who is the user? What kind of information are they interested to hear, instead of they maybe sharing the technical jargon that I would say to another UX designer. If it's an external stakeholder, I'm probably going to reduce it to something very simple so that even the layman can understand why I did this. I made the button bigger so you could see it better, or like we wanted to change this color so you could draw emphasis to it and you'd see it right away. Thinking about your audience and really the storytelling kind of goes hand in hand with being self-aware, right? Like all of the soft skills, never going to be a negative to be self-aware, in my opinion.
One thing about self-awareness is like people who are self-aware tend to reflect a lot. I think that's really important for like growth in any career, right? If you can reflect and introspect, then you can kind of map out like what you want in your career or what you want to learn more, right? So you're just gonna be more purposeful in the steps you make towards your goal and the things you do at work. Self-awareness doesn't hurt. If anything, it's a superpower of yours. I guess you don't want to have too much self-awareness that you can't do anything. Is a net positive, in my opinion. Can you talk about the importance of soft skill and how to articulate them in an interview and intertwine them within your story of your skills? Can you think of an example of a story you told during an interview?
So actually, it's funny that you say this because I did a lot of prep work for interviews, and part of that was thinking of these stories that I could share that would be relevant for any of those behavioral interview type questions that people ask. And you really only need like 4 or 5 stories that will apply to the vast majority of those types of questions. And it's storytelling, right? That's how you articulate these skills. It's showing in the story, beginning, middle, and end, right? People use the STAR method. It's the same thing. One of the stories I would tell was from working in the restaurant. I was managing. I come in on a busy Friday night and the water's brown. You need clean water to operate a restaurant. We have reservations coming in tonight. Friday night, we'd want to shut the restaurant down. How do we overcome this situation? So I was able to work closely with my manager. We called the plumber immediately, and he was able to come in on an emergency. We were able to get the water up and running in the next hour. So we didn't have to actually cancel any of our reservations because I started around 4 o'clock. So it's just a couple of people we had to turn away, able to quickly turn around the entire night and save essentially everyone's experience that evening. How crappy you've been waiting for date night all until Friday and we cancel your reservation on you last minute. So just quick thinking on our toes and, staying calm in a tough situation allowed us to overcome that obstacle. And it's not UX related, but it goes to my soft skills. And when you're transitioning, if you have stories like this that you can share, it doesn't have to be UX related. Once you start to build those stories later, that's when you can bring them out.
So remember that question about the eternal sunshine. So I want to bring it up. It's really interesting. Let's do some role play here.
Okay, I'm ready.
So Emilie, you've been eternal sunshine of the spotless mind by instead erasing your romantic partner. You've erased everything you know about UX. So you find yourself on the Die Hard bus. I like this, that you're merging 2 films together. Thank you, whoever wrote this. But you only have 3 months to find a UX job, or everybody on the bus eats it. How would you advise yourself to get into a job with only 3 months, with everybody's life on the line? 3 months, you have no experience or no knowledge about UX. What would you do?
Really not setting me up to succeed here. 3 months is not a lot of time, even for somebody that would be like an expert quick learner. But more realistically speaking, if I had a very short time frame to break into UX, I'm the kind of person that likes to be held accountable and have that structure. So for me, taking a boot camp was a very good option for that. It's also expensive, so it really motivated me to do my best. I think I would still probably take that path again. It's a really great place to jump off from and build your career. It doesn't teach you everything, obviously. You can't learn everything in such a short span, but that would really be helpful. And starting to build relationships as soon as possible, reaching out to people, getting to know them. Like when I was first starting with networking, I had this totally wrong. I was just like, okay, talk to someone. I'm going to butter them up a little bit and they're going to like me so much, they're going to offer me a job. And it's very embarrassing to admit this now because that is just so obviously not how this is supposed to work. It's about building relationships and it takes time to do that. So if I only got 3 months, day one, starting early, reaching out to people, seeing how I can help.
3 months to get into industry is quite aggressive. I would say consume as much information about the industry as possible. Just basically be like, okay, well, where's the best information? And then how quickly can I consume it? Like you can listen to it while you're on the bus, you watch it, replace Netflix, but watch educational videos. And then because UX for me is more of a vocation than a profession. A profession is like things you have to study for, and then you pass the bar, and then, okay, now you're official. But a vocation is like, it has to be on the job. So the easiest way to do this is once you've consumed enough, you can then say, okay, who can I help? How can I help them? The easiest example is like build a website for your friend. That's probably the lowest barrier to entry of anything with these no code tools you have out there. Then that could get your feet wet. Diving into projects as early as possible. You're also not just learning passively when you're consuming, you're also learning actively. So you say, okay, well, how do I solve this specific problem? And I'll just learn enough to solve that problem, and then I'll move on to the next problem. And that way, I think it will solidify knowledge quicker. And then you can give actual concrete examples in your interview and say, oh, yes, I came across this problem. This is how I tackled it. So this is really, really interesting. And I think pulling in whatever your experience in your background and applying it to that specific process of learning and building products is probably the best way and probably the quickest way, because you're getting real hands-on experience. Who cares if you don't know anything? Just try and build this website. And then now you have to learn how to build the website, right?
Yeah. I think they should pick you. If their life depends on it for the 3 months, I think that's a pretty good answer.
Well, I'm honored, but I do not want to save people like on this path.
I'm trying to just get myself out of the situation. Yeah.
No, I'll just enter a coin and restart the game. I guess this is more of a quick question. What do you think of Want to listen to the full conversation? Click the video on screen now. Subscribe to the channel if you want to join us live. Oh, wait. Okay, fine, you don't have to join us for the live stream, but if you like stuff like this, then click that subscribe button. I'll see you on the inside. Bye!